So for this sketchbook entry, you're actually going to take some time and do a tissue paper dyeing method that I've learned, and I think it's going to be a really neat process that you guys can practice and apply to a sketchbook entry of your choice. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do is actually have some sort of drawing, and you want this to be in Sharpie. Now there's a really specific reason why we're going to use Sharpie for the drawing and not any other kind of marker or just pencil, and the reason for that is because the Sharpie is permanent, as we know, and we are going to just basically be applying water and tissue paper on top of this to kind of help the tissue paper bleed onto the page. And if we use washable marker or even just graphite and some other like pastels or anything like that, there's a potential for this to bleed. And if that's what you kind of want and you're not afraid to see how that would actually turn out, by all means, use a washable marker, kind of go with it and see what happens. It might actually end up looking pretty cool, but for what I'm going to do, I already have a pre-drawn sketchbook page with just a really simple kind of design on it, and I have all of my tissue paper of a variety of different colors. I'm just going to be pretty generous in applying the tissue paper, so I'm just going to rip it up into small pieces, and then I just simply have a cup of water and a paintbrush. And I'm just going to simply kind of place these on here until they stay. And I'm going to use a bunch of different colors for this. It might actually help if you put some water down on the paper and then kind of go over top of it. Now, if you want to protect, because you are going to be using a pretty generous amount of water, so if you wanted to protect pages underneath, you could just slip another piece of paper under here. You could get some of the plastic wrap and slip this underneath of here if you feel like it's going to bleed through some of your pages. And then, once you have your paper covered, so it's pretty general and kind of messy at this point, but we're going to let this dry, and we're going to let it dry overnight, and then when we come back, you will be able to kind of peel the tissue paper off, and hopefully it will leave behind some of the color residue, and it will sort of tint our page wherever we put down the different colors. So after the tissue paper has taken some time to dry in your sketchbook, it's going to be really loose and it's going to peel off super easy, and it should just come off right away in different little layers. And I love this because the color is super subtle. It's not going to be really overpowering, but it also has like a texture even that gives it a really unique look. I'm going to try to get you a better view of it here. And so like down there in the corners where the colors overlapped, you can definitely see like where the tissue paper was like crinkled up in different layers, and it was actually like layered into different areas. So I think the more saturated colors definitely work better. But overall, it's a really cool concept that you can apply to your sketchbook to give it a really unique look.